Now then, you big set of minges. How we doing? Welcome back to the Mosey channel. Today, a little bit different. Started a podcast with my good friend Fighter. Toploader with Mosey and Fighter. I'm Mosey. This is Fighter.
Nice to be here, Mosey. Thank you for having me on.
No, a pleasure as always, mate. And thank you for agreeing to do this with us. Obviously, you know, when it came to deciding who I'd like to be a co-host on the podcast, the first name that came up anyway, it was always going to be you, man. As long as you said yeah. So I'm glad that you said yeah. Thank you.
That's
Um,
not a problem at all.
no, I appreciate it. The reason why we started this podcast, I mean, from my point of view, was basically that it was something that we could bring out every bi-weekly or monthly, depending on how we get on. Obviously, we both got schedules and both got plans and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. But it was to be able to talk about topics just if it's trending or not, or just whatever. So obviously, this is a starter episode. This is episode 1, so it's just basically getting to know us, and we're gonna chat a little bit of crap about other stuff as well. So yeah, I mean, have you got anything to add to that? I suppose is the question.
No, I haven't, mate. Like, obviously, like you say, it's to basically highlight some, what's coming out, um, what exists at the minute, and what we enjoy about, about the world of Pokemon, and whether that be the cards or the games or anything that goes along with it. So, no, it's gonna be good to be able to have a good long chat about this sort of thing and see. It's just highlight what's what, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's a good way for us to talk about the TCG. I mean, we're both collectors of the TCG. We both play the games. And I don't play Pokemon Go maybe as much as yourself, but Pokemon Go is always an option to talk about. And also, October 31st in the UK comes out Pokemon TCG Pocket, which will definitely take a bit more time, I suppose. Are you looking forward to that one?
Yeah, I am actually, and it's something I've been looking into. Like there's means and ways of potentially having at least a little bit more of an in-depth look at it, because I think it's limited to New Zealand at the minute, isn't it? If I remember right from what I've read. So, but
Yeah.
there's might be able to have a quick look into it before its release, like a bit more in depth. Not to say that I'm going to do anything that I shouldn't be to obtain a copy of it early, just that other people have those means and ways so they can share a little bit more about what's going on with it. So
Yeah,
we'll have to have a look and see what's what.
there's plenty of people out there who have taken a trip to New Zealand for this month, shall we say, via a Nord passageway, shall we say. Um,
Yeah, uh,
but yeah, I think it's exciting because it's something new. It's solely around the TCG, which obviously it is, you can battle on it as well from what I've seen. It just looks like something new, different. A lot of the packs and the stuff that I've seen, like the card arts and stuff, are different to
yeah,
like the real TCG, the real life TCG. So it's adding a different layer, as if to speak, to Pokemon. Without it being, I don't really know. I thought that why wouldn't you just release a new TCG, for instance, or something like that? But oh well, not even a new
yeah,
TCG, but like a new set.
yeah. And that's the thing is like it looks like very much that some of the sets that they are releasing for it, from what I've seen, are they've got like special art cards that are not in the mainline TCG. So whilst that is nice to see, and it's showing that it's its own thing, are we going to have some of these really beautiful artworks locked purely to a digital format? Like, or are we going to eventually be able to get them in, an actual physical form? Because some of the artwork, some of the cards I've seen, really, really nice.
Yeah.
And it would just be a shame if that's just limited to a digital format.
Yeah, it would be because some of them are like. So I've been collecting a few of the promos from, I believe it was XY, maybe Sun and Moon. I'm not too sure. It's the
Yeah,
I think it's the XY era. It's Pikachu EX. Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard. I haven't got the Charizard, but the, they're all of them are promos, and like those kind of arts are like the same as the ones that they're using in Pocket for like the big hitters, but it
Yeah,
it seems like it's just gonna be a thing of maybe down the line we might get an actual physical TCG for Pocket, because they did obviously with Pokemon Go. They ended up
yeah.
doing that. So I wonder if that's a thing that they'll end up doing down the line. It's just at the moment it's not. I don't think really to the public it's not on the cards because it's not even out here yet. So
No, exactly, and it's not like I will begrudge them having some really nice artworks, and like you say, it's not even released here in the UK yet, so it's I'm not expecting them anytime soon. It's just I'm hoping it doesn't, you know, we don't get all these really nice artwork cards for Pocket that then never see the light of day in a physical form. Like even if we can just, like you say, they do a limited run of cards like they did with the Pokemon Go ones, like just a one-off set.
mm.
Um, and if they do that, every every one limited set a year or something like that, where it's not very much like for it, maybe a couple of collectors boxes, like they did with Pokemon Go, and maybe an ETB. Um, but if I remember right, I don't think they did individual packs for Pokemon Go. I think you had to buy them as part of like collectors boxes or like the free packs or the ETB. I may be wrong. I didn't do a great deal of collecting of those. In fact, I don't think I bought any of them in the end. Um,
I think you're
much
right.
to my shame. I think they did it like that, which was very similar to how they did the English 151.
Yeah,
Individual packs were not a thing. It was you bought the ETB, you bought the blister packs, like the three packs. You bought the collector boxes. You couldn't buy them individually. So even if they did something a bit like that, that would work for me.
yeah. I mean, with 151, they did, a lot of companies would break them down, and you could buy single packs, which obviously I believe Fighters trying to like say as well. Like, but I don't think Pokemon Go like I completely agree with you. They didn't they didn't do it as like booster boxes or anything like that. So it was harder to get hold of like single packs unless companies were specifically breaking down boxes, breaking down stuff, so that you could get those packs, which they were available, and you could get them. But it's like I say, you was breaking down an ETB, so the prices
Yeah,
of
well,
stuff goes up, doesn't it?
yeah, and I think the cheapest way to get Pokemon Go, unless obviously if someone does, if someone who did heavily invest in them is able to correct me in the comments, that's fine. So, to my knowledge, the cheapest variant of the Pokemon Go ones was to buy the mini tins where you got the two packets, and they were like priced at anywhere between $8.99 and a tenner, I think.
Mm.
Was the going price for most of the mini tins. So I think that was the smallest sort of, I guess, official denominator of packs you could buy. In case unless companies were buying, and then breaking down the bulk boxes of them to sell the packets individually at a markup.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's always something that going back to the Pocket from Go, like it is something that if this does happen, it's probably gonna happen as well. I do
Yeah,
know I did open a few bits and pieces for Pokemon Go, not loads. I hadn't really collected it as much. But I do remember when you got like a ETB or like a collection box or something like that, you'd get like a code card, but the code card was for Pokemon Go, and I believe that's the same with the packs as well. Like the packs where you'd have a, I think it was either a code card and another card, or it was just the code card was just a code for Pokemon Go, which once again, if you buy a pack for Pokemon Pocket in real life, you could open it and you'd have a pack in the game as well, which I think is brilliant. I think that would be a
yeah.
really good idea.
Or the alternative is do we think that this is going to be the end of the traditional online TCG that exists at present? Not necessarily immediately, but over time, and are physical packets code cards going to be, rather than having the online TCG code cards, are they going to be replaced with Pokemon Pocket code cards, where you get a buy a physical packet of whatever set,
Mm.
you then get a random pack or a corresponding pack on Pokemon Pocket? Is that then going to eventually, over time, phase out the original TCG? Well, I guess only time will tell with that one.
I mean, it's definitely a potential because um, I don't know the numbers for the people that still play. Obviously, the online TCG. I played it a few times. Couldn't really get into it. That's why I give away a lot of my code cards on like Got Back Mall and stuff like that. Just because I've got a shelf underneath my PC. I said PC, it's a laptop. Under my laptop, and it's literally just absolutely filled with code cards. I get some out for the people, but yeah, it's like literally just filled. And there's a notebook as well. But
I
it's just it's a waste of cardboard as well. I think, like
It is, it is.
to people who don't maybe don't play the game, the TCG online, it is a bit of a not an inconvenience, but it is as well. If you know what I mean. Um,
Yeah, and yeah, like I mean, like I say, you couldn't get into it very well. I gave it a try myself as well. Found that the app for mobile was quite clunky and quite, like, it wasn't a very smooth experience. I've not overly played it on PC. It probably works a whole lot better, but you know, how many people, like, more people will probably use an app-based thing like Pocket than they would, especially if it's more polished and smoother and more streamlined than the online TCG app. Like, I found that very, very clunky to use. And whilst, yes, being able to scan your code cards in was miles quicker on that than it was on typing them out individually on your PC. Because I went through a stack like that,
yeah.
if not more, on my app, and it took like 5 minutes to go through it all. Just literally just scan them one after the other, and then
Mm.
it just goes, right. You've got this pack. You've got this pack. You've got this pack. That's cool. Um, as, Compared to days of old, where it was just typing out the code on the back of it, like, it would have been there all day trying to do a stack that size.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
again, I still think it was a little bit too clunky. It wasn't very user friendly in my opinion, but that's just me. I'm sure other people will disagree with that.
Yeah,
So I'm excited for Pocket because it does, from what I've seen, look like a much smoother and more streamlined experience for the TCG
yeah,
in a digital form.
I agree. I think it's a move in the right direction. I believe it only got announced at the Worlds, which was in Hawaii, which was oh god, when was that? It was a couple of months ago. When it was June, July.
I think so. Yeah, June, July sort of time. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
it's
it's
rollout's been fairly quick.
yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see. I
It is.
think it is a step in the right direction, and you know, fair play to Pokemon.
Yeah.
So we got on a bit of a tangent about Pokemon Pocket, which wasn't scripted actually. We've got a bit of a running order, but that's beside the fact. It's brilliant. At least we've got something to talk about, and you know,
Yeah.
it's something new as well, which is always great. Um,
Yeah, and it's something we can keep an eye on, and it can become a recurring theme as the app progresses and develops. Like, it will take up a smaller segment maybe each time there's an update, but
Aye,
it's
exactly,
something to talk about.
exactly, yeah. Could I mean, obviously speaking about future episodes, maybe we could have like a Pokemon Go and a Pokemon Pocket like section where we just talk about those two individual things because majority of the time on here we're probably going to be talking about TCG, all the games.
Yeah,
Um, I definitely believe that I'm better at talking about the games and the TCG than Pokemon Go. Even though I do play it regularly, it's not something that I do play a lot. Um,
yeah, it's something I've gotten back into recently. However, like, I did take like a 2 year hiatus from it, and I came back and went, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, so
yeah,
much had changed. But yeah, it's something that I can, like, we can talk bits and pieces about. We can, you know, there's obviously still quite a lot of sort of, I guess, negativity around the direction that Pokemon Go is going. But
Mm.
at the same time, it's a free game. Microtransactions are commonplace in free games. They've got to make their money somewhere, don't they?
Absolutely.
So, but
Absolutely.
that's not to say that I agree with the direction that it's going in, because it's there are some bits that are a bit rubbing me the wrong way, shall we say?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, there was all sorts of stuff that was going on with that one, like, but
Yeah.
yeah. So what I've got written down actually is so that you guys can get to know us a little bit better. Obviously, like I said, first episode, we're just really getting into the introduction of this, and so that people can kind of understand where we're coming from and just bits and pieces. I've got written down starting in Pokemon, so fighter. Talk to me about starting out in Pokemon, like how, like what games, TCG, anything, just how you started in Pokemon.
Oh, well, I started in Pokemon, I think the same way a lot of people of our age did. I distinctly remember watching the very first episode when it aired in the UK of the animated series. And from there, I was kind of hooked on it. My first game was Pokemon Blue for Game Boy Color, um, quickly followed by Yellow and then Crystal when it released.
Mm.
And since then, I have collected one half or one third, shall we say, in some instances, of every handheld game to date.
Yeah,
My brother has the corresponding ones. So between us, we, have a very, very big collection of the games for handheld,
yeah,
um, from beginning to, the most recent ones have obviously been Scarlet and Violet. Um, and whilst there are some that I probably put more effort and energy into than others, there are some, there are some generations that I'm a little bit less clued up on, because I kind of either didn't get into the games as much, but I still, sort of played them for the sake of it, or it's just they weren't as appealing to me at the time.
yeah,
Excuse me. But yeah, I've played one section or two of every single generation's worth of games since then. As for collecting the cards, again, very early on, not that I am aware of what happened to a lot of them. I did have some original base set cards from when I was a kid. Don't know what happened to a lot of them. Moved around a lot growing up. Moved countries and
yeah,
back again. So like some probably got lost along the way. But yeah, so like I've been collecting cards very much since they came out. Probably took a bit of a break in that in my teenage years, up until sort of, I guess, up until sort of like the last 10 years, really.
yeah,
So say maybe I took a sort of like five to 6 year sort of gap where I didn't collect any, and then started picking them back up again around the time of Sun and Moon's sets, I think. Yeah,
yeah.
maybe a little bit before then. And yeah, like I say, still play the games to this day. And still have my, as well, speaking of games, actually, my original Pokemon Stadium Nintendo 64,
Yeah.
with the original games, and it came with the original VHS, and it had like the first like 3 or 4 episodes on it as well. That came as a bundle together with it, and it all still works, which is really really nice. So
That's
I've had
good.
that for Virgin on like 23, 24 years, something like that now.
Showing our age, Matt. Showing our age.
Yeah,
Not
a
good, is
little
it?
bit. No, no.
Um, no, it's I think with a lot of people, like they do drop out of Pokemon, don't they, and then come back to it. So you came back in the Sun and Moon, which what was that? Sorry, I've got Poke Collector up. So that was 2017, 2019. So around that time, you came back into Pokemon, which yeah, that's good going. That really.
Yeah.
Um, so I've got another question for you, but I'll just quickly go through them. So my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Yellow Special Edition. I got the Game Boy Color, the yellow Game Boy Color for Christmas one year. There is a funny story about the actual like me getting it, but I'm saving it for a video, which it's going to take a bit of time to come out, but it's for a different video, that story.
That's fair.
So yeah, I remember going to where I live right now. I've lived in this area for about 23 years, I believe. We moved into our old house, which is just around the corner, which is weird. I don't know why we moved around the corner, but yeah, it was 2001 when I moved into that house. And I remember going to the shop, which is still there, but it's changed hands. And buying base sets and base set Pokemon packs and Fossil and Jungle. They're the three sets that I remember really like seeing and like collecting and not really looking after as a kid. But
Yeah.
I think that's the problem with most people. They just, I believe, without sounding too bad, we took it for granted, didn't we?
Oh yeah, we definitely did, and
Yeah,
it's something that like my kids collect them now, and I try and encourage them to look after certain cards, especially because like they'll be worth something one day.
absolutely, yeah. I had a Team Rocket binder, which once again, going back to videos, I talk about in a different video, and I actually put a picture up, and I'll probably put a picture up there for this episode. And God knows what happened to that. So I moved schools, and I had a pencil case that was Pokemon, and on my first day, I remember putting it out on my desk, and the lad who was sat next to me, well, he was like opposite me a bit. He was like, "Oh, I've got the same one," and we started talking and stuff like that. And I've been mates with him for 23 years now. So yeah, Pokemon's done quite good for us actually. But yeah, I played yellow, played blue, played red, played gold. I didn't play silver. And then I played ruby, I believe, which was the next one. Oh, emerald. No, ruby then emerald. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at Luke for confirmation on that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, it was Ruby Sapphire, and then shortly after it was Emerald. That was the third counterpart to
yeah,
the third generation. So
yeah. That was Rayquaza's introduction, wasn't it?
yes, it was. Yes.
Many men. Um, but yeah, I think I got out of the TCG really early because like I think I might have been near. Yeah, I think I got some Neo Destiny cards and Neo
Yeah.
Genesis, but then I completely left Pokemon because it wasn't cool at school. Everyone was playing football and whatnot. Um, and I came back in Sword and Shield, and I remember actually asking you and our good friend King Killer Cook that I was getting back into it, and I was like, you know what, I want to. I think it was just after lockdown or just before lockdown. And I said to you guys like,
Yeah.
what's a good set to start on? And you both went, oh well, I think it was yeah. Brilliant Stars had just come out
Yeah.
when I started, and you guys said get into Fusion Strike. So I started buying Fusion Strike, then I bought some Brilliant Stars, and then us three did a collab stream of Astral Radiance, which is still available on
Yes.
the channel. And we all opened a booster box each of Astral Radiance, and I think that's when, for me, it was the first time that since getting out of the hobby, I got back into it, and it took over. And I've been in the red ever since. And funnily enough, Astral Radiance is now the set that I'm trying to complete. So full circle. So yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
that.
And yeah, you're welcome for the me giving you a what is it, over 300 card set to finish,
Yeah,
or
much
nearly.
appreciated on that one, mate.
But yeah, at the time that was the new set coming out, wasn't it? So that was what was the best thing to sort of readily find at the time. And looking back on it, we could have probably looked for some older sets that were still in circulation, but those were the ones that were the most readily able to find at that point. So
Well, yeah,
I think we all went in on those a little bit at one point or another.
we should have done Evolving Skies, because I mean, look how
We should have done
mad.
because yes, because at that point, Evolving Skies were still like 4 or 5 quid a packet, as opposed to like 16 to 20 quid a packet, depending on where you're looking.
Absolutely,
Because everyone wants that Moonbury on.
they do, and it. Yeah, I mean, it's just a sick card, isn't it? It's just
It is. It
it's
is.
a top 10 card. I mean, we will talk about favorite cards very shortly, but just to move us on a little bit from us starting out in Pokemon, I've got this question for you. What
Yeah.
is one vintage and modern TCG set that you'd say is your favorite? So you can only pick one of each. One vintage, and when I say vintage, I'd probably say let's go black and white and before,
Okay.
and then black and white. So modern X and Y forward to Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of vintage sets, for me, oh, it's a tough question. I would say I'm absolutely, like I absolutely love the base set, but think that Gen 2 was, my all-time favorite Pokemon game is Pokemon Crystal. It
Mm.
has been since I first got it one Christmas morning, the year of its release. All the way through into being an adult, it's the one that I will always say, yeah, that is my favorite Pokemon game of all time. So probably like either Neo Genesis or Neo Genesis 2. I know that there was a couple of reprints. I think there were a couple of new editions, if I remember right, as well. So yeah, in terms of vintage ones, I'd probably say the Neo Genesis sets were my favorite vintage sets.
Yeah.
Modern sets, oh, that's a tough one because there have been some really nice ones over the years. Um, honorable mention definitely goes to the like the Unbroken Bonds, the ones with the tag team set, the Sun and Moon one, or the actual tag team set itself. I can't remember. I think they split
Cosmic
the ability
Eclipse?
to get those. Um,
No, that was Dream League, wasn't it?
yeah, Cosmic Eclipse I think was Dream League, yeah, and those
Unbroken
were some very
Bonds
nice cards
and
as well. But
Unified
yeah, Unbroken
Bonds.
Bonds, yeah. Honorable mention goes to them because they had some really nice cards in them, but as you know, and as you know, I am still partway collecting, but have finished the actual, base set of 151. Um,
Yeah,
151, absolutely beautiful set. Whilst I didn't collect the English set, you actually did. You did.
yeah.
Um, I'm aware. I opted for the Japanese set, and I completed the Japanese base set, and I'm slowly working on that Master Ball set for it.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, that's got to have been my favorite set recently. Just the kind of almost like return to form of the original Pokemon, but with the newer art styles and newer styles of cards that the base sets obviously never got. Um, yeah, it was just a nice bit of nostalgia. So that's my all-time favorite for modern sets.
yeah. Um, so for myself, I wrote down Team Rocket and Astral Radiance. I do feel like Astral Radiance is because of like my re-love into it now, I suppose. But I would say 151 has been absolutely fucking superb, tremendous even.
Yes.
Um, it's definitely one that I think a lot of collectors have come back to, and it's really kicked on a lot of people, and like new collectors have come back into it. So, like for instance, if I had a son and he wasn't into Pokemon, and I showed him 151, I feel like kids are more likely to come back into Pokemon because of 151, which I think are great. That's excellent. That's what we want to see
Yeah.
at the end of the day. We want to see more people collecting, and it makes Pokemon more enjoyable because more people are, I suppose, taking a liking to it. Just raises the market,
Yeah.
unfortunately, on bloody cards like the Charizard 151, the Charizard EX, which is still £100, no matter if it's English or Japanese. Um,
Yeah. Very, very, very sought after card.
certainly is.
And one
Um,
that we're both quite lucky to be able to get actually. Um,
yeah,
you got the English counterpart to it, and I had the Japanese one.
you do. Which did get graded, but we're not going to say about what grade yet, because that video
No,
isn't
no.
out yet. um, just waiting on a second King Killer Cook to get some thumbnails sorted, which is fine. I only asked them from yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. So
But yeah, Team Rocket was. I go back to Team Rocket all the time. I fucking love Team Rocket. Team Rocket is just. Yeah, I think it's the one where, even though I did say like I collected a lot of base set, a lot of jungle and fossil, um, Team Rocket was always the one where like I don't know why they scared me. They scared me as a kid. As a kid, I would shit my pants over Team Rocket. Um, I thought Meowth was a little twat, and just that kind of shit. Giovanni
little
was real
gobshite that he
scary.
was.
Yeah, he was a little gobshite. But yeah, it's just like looking back on it now, and I look at like sets. Team Rocket's really good. I think one that I
Yeah,
just need to give a shout out to is the E series. When I got back into
yeah,
Pokemon, I didn't realize the game of E series. E series' game is beautiful. I really like E series. Just looking
yeah,
over the sets and stuff like that. Obviously, there's Skyridge, Aquapolis, yeah, Aquapolis, an
yeah,
Expedition. Like, just brilliant. I just think they're excellent.
yeah.
Just really nice, solid cards.
Yes.
And the reverse holos on them are fucking mint as well. Sorry, I had a burp then. I didn't know if it was going to be a cough or a burp. So yeah, Pokemon is obviously a thing that we both like and we both enjoy. And, you know, it's good when you've got friends who you can turn to and be like, "Oh, do you remember this? Do you remember that?" Or like, you'll send me a picture of a card, and I'm like, "Wow, where the is that from?" But it's good. I think, speaking of like knowledge wise, I think your knowledge of Pokemon is a vastly vast of a man. It doesn't help with obviously having like a 20-year gap from it, but like if I ever have like questions or anything like that, I always turn them over to you because it's just like I'll just give it to the actual real life Pokédex and he'll sort us out with something.
Yeah, like it's nice being able to make use of all my random what was formerly sort of I guess useless information on Pokemon when other people didn't want to hear about it. Like
Yeah,
I have a couple of friends now, yourself included, that are really big into it, and I've got some friends that like they'll like to ask me about like the lore of different Pokemon as well. And whilst I can't say I know everything about every Pokemon because that would be an insane amount to learn.
it certainly would.
There are some like favorites, particularly around like the ghost type Pokemon. Some of them have got some quite interesting lore, and some of them are quite funny as well. So, like the whole thing with Drifloon, basically kidnapping children and things like that, leading them to the afterlife and things like. If you it
Jesus.
is, and it's quite funny because I was watching one of the series with my kids. I can't remember which one it was, whether it was a Sun and Moon or an X and Y episode, because we've been watching both of them recently.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where like, the main characters are in it, and just in the background, you've just got this little kid walking along, holding like its parent's hand or something, and then in its other hand, it's holding onto a Drifloon, and I'm just like, that child's never going to be seen again.
It's like a Wendigoon in
But
the forest. A Wendigo, sorry, in
yeah,
the forest.
but yeah, like there's stuff like that, and like yeah, like it's nice being able to share that information now, which was previously just rattling around in my head, going like I've got this information but nothing to do with it.
No. I get that, man. It's I mean, hey, if you that could be a segment for the show as well, like fighters lore of the day or something like that. So you give us Drifloon for the next episode.
Yeah,
You could do another one. I think that would be quite sick, you know. Um,
yeah, that's something I could definitely do. I can work my way through, and if there is like obviously I know Google is a thing, so most people can look up the lore of Pokemon that they want to. But if there is anyone that does, so want to know a bit more about a specific Pokemon, if they want to leave a comment, and I'll look through them. And if I'm if I'm either struggling for ideas on who to use, or like people have got a genuine like interest in it, and they go, "Oh yeah, I'd like to know more about this Pokemon." I can certainly do that, like more than happily, to
Yeah.
condense what the different Pokedexes say across each entry. Like especially when you've got a Pokemon like, for example, Drifloon that has been around for a while. Each generation, it's got two or three versions, and each Pokedex version will have like a little bit of lore for each of it. So, like I can condense it and compile it into a small little segment so that it's people get the full lore without having to read through 4 to 6 or even more Pokedex entries to make sense of it.
No, absolutely. It's always great to be able to just go for it and like if there is if you've got a Pokemon, drop it in the link down the link down below. Bloody hell. I'm wired for bloody just normal channel videos, aren't I? Drop a comment, let us know which Pokemon lore you want, and in the next episode Fighter will he'll show you what he's got in the locker, I suppose.
So now on the topic of Pokemon, and like not having that information about them and things like that. Obviously the idea came to me of what is your favorite Pokemon, Mosey? Like, we'll go with like your favorite sort of standard Pokemon, and then your favorite legendary or mythical. Because everyone's got their favorite legendary as well as their normal sort of favorite Pokemon. So I'd like to hear yours.
Yes, I'd say probably my favorite Pokemon. So I like electricity type. I don't know why. I just think it's like yellow borders and shit.
Yeah,
It just gets my dick hard. So, um, I'd say my favorite Pokemon overall is actually an evolution, and it's Jolteon. I love Jolteon. I think he's sick as fuck. So I'm just gonna hold up to the camera my Unagaba PSA one. You just see the reflection. But there you go. Yeah, I'd say Jolteon. I really like Zapdos as well. Um, as far as like legendary, um, I'd probably say Rayquaza. Um, I think it is a bit of a cop out, but it's what I like. I like Rayquaza. I think he's sick. A lot of people like Charizard. I like Rayquaza. So, and obviously
that's
Charizard's not a legendary Pokemon, but yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So, what about yourself, Fighter?
that's fair enough. But everybody, that's the great thing about Pokemon is everyone's got every Pokemon is someone's favorite somewhere in the world.
Mm,
Something that's noticeable when you if you go on the Pokemon Center website and you see all the variations of plushies and things like of course you can get like Diglett plushies and things like that. So clearly it's someone's favorite somewhere.
yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, so my favorites. So my favorite all-time Pokemon, again, could be seen as quite a cop out in terms of um, it's a very popular one. So it would be Gengar. I absolutely love Ghost type Pokemon. They to me have some of the more interesting lore as well. But I do absolutely love them. So Gengar was probably, like my first favorite. I do have a certain soft spot for Mimikyu as well. Um,
Yeah.
but Gengar was the OG for me in terms of ghost type Pokemon, and very, very quick favorite of mine. Another fan favorite. In terms of legendaries, favorite legendaries for me have evolved over the years. If you'd asked me when I was growing up, I'd have probably said something like Lugia.
Mm,
Um, was a good favorite of mine. Now, I'd probably have to say, is it copping out to say that I have it in different ones for different things? Possibly a little. Um, so like in terms of the games and in terms of playstyle, I absolutely love Darkrai as a Pokemon. It's got some really interesting sort of like sort of lore behind it, and it's had some very interesting uses in the like the series over the years as well.
yeah.
Whether it's just it appeared in one or two episodes, or whether it's centered around like a film. Um, uh, it's quite cool. I quite like it as a Pokemon. Um, I guess an honorable mention would be like Giratina as well for similar reasons. It's got quite a lot of good lore behind it as well. So, um, yeah, I'd probably say Dark Rider is my favorite legendary
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah, Giratina is a good shout as well, and like I feel like with the TCG, going on to TCG, like the cards, usually Giratina and Rayquaza are usually big hitters, aren't they? Like
Yeah,
Rayquaza's got a couple of VMAXs which are highly sought after, and you've got like the Gold Giratina which just goes for loads.
yeah, and the
Is it Lost
is it
Origin?
the Lost Origin special
Yeah,
art rare?
yeah, that one's
That's mad.
that's like £380, I believe. I'll pop it in the space in between as how much that is.
Something like that for
Yeah,
a raw card, and I've seen tens go for 4 digits quite easily.
yeah, they do. They go for a lot of money. Um,
Yeah.
I suppose then, talking about favorite Pokemon, then what's your favorite Pokemon card? If you had to pick
Oh, that is
one.
a. If I had to pick one, if I had to pick one, it's a very tough choice because there are a lot of big, like, good contenders for that.
Okay, you can say three.
You know.
Go three.
Okay. Favorite ones, full stop. If we're including ones I don't own, we've already mentioned one, the Moonbryon card
Mm-hmm.
from Evolving Skies. Absolutely beautiful card.
Yeah,
Absolutely stunning artwork. You mentioned that one of your favorites was an Evolution. Well, my favorite Evolution is Umbreon.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, absolutely stunning card. Would I still do when I've got a spare bit of cash lying around, try and buy Evolving Skies here and there when I can. And if, the next time I come into a decent bit of money, I am going to buy an Evolving Skies ETB. And much to the probably heartache of many people, I will be opening it because I will want to see what I can get from it.
mm.
Um,
Definitely do that
but
on
yeah,
stream.
yes,
On
I
your
will definitely do
kick.
that on the stream.
She's on the screen.
Yes, I will.
Check him out.
And but so yeah, so that would probably be one of them. Now going on to some that I own, Ancient Mew is another lovely card that I've got.
Yeah,
Um, Absolutely love it. It's probably one of my all-time favorites and has been for a long time. Um, Considering how old the card actually is.
yeah.
Um, and aside from that, trying to think of a more modern one that I really, really like. Um, okay, another one that I don't have, and it's actually from one of the more recent sets. That I absolutely love is the Terrapagos special art rare card. The
Yeah.
introduction of the stellar terrestrialized cards, the rainbow patterning on them. There's something about it that I just really, really like. So I would definitely say that's up there as a recent favorite.
Mm.
How about yourself? Like,
So I do have to agree with you on Ancient Mew. Ancient Mew's, I mean, it's just how can it's just so different. It's it's just unique in a card.
yeah,
So I think I'd be daft if I didn't say Ancient Mew. Ancient Mew is one of my favorite cards. Another one that I really liked is I've got it PSA graded down there, but I can't show it to the camera. For obvious reasons. It is the let me just have a look at what it's called. So it's the Scarlet. No, sorry, it's Sun and Moon Black Star promo from the HIF Elite Trainer box. HIF, is that Hidden Fates? I think.
I believe so. Let me have a look. See.
Um, yeah, it's the promo from there. It's Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno GX. It's like a stained glass window.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, it is the Hidden Fates one.
Hidden Fates. Yeah, so
Very beautiful card.
it is
Very
awesome.
beautiful card.
I could probably show the camera, but I'll put a picture on screen. Sorry, my phone decided to ding then. So I'll put a picture on screen because I don't really want to show you the grid because that'll ruin the other video that I'm going to release. And for me, it's between the gold sets that did. Was that Crown Zenith? The gold cards, like the Giratina, the
Yes, yes,
yeah,
the Giratina, Palkia, Dialga, and Arceus. That
yeah.
I believe if you put all four of them together in a sort of like north, south, east, west positioning, it creates a full image.
Oh shit.
Um, I have seen a couple of people post them up together, and the images do look like they continue on from one another. Whether that's intentional or whether it's just a coincidence, and my mind's making it look like a proper image,
Yeah,
I would have to actually look into. But I do believe that the four together do make up a full image.
yeah. So I'd say them, but that's like four cards. So I'm gonna pick a different one, and should I just go for the Dondozo? I don't know. I'm trying to think. Detective Pikachu, the latest one, that one's pretty sick. Um, Fucking hell. Uh, we'll go with one of them. Take your pick, but yeah, I think yeah, I'll just pick one of them. Yeah, pick the last one. Yeah, sorry, I was just spilled ink on my desk. Great. All right, so with that all out the way, you've got to know me and Fighter a bit more. We're going to talk a bit about our thoughts on the last three sets from Pokemon, which is in order of release: Twilight Masquerade, Shrouded Fable, Stellar Crown. So between we're all friends here. Shrouded Fable, I haven't actually opened any packs of Shrouded Fable. Stellar Crown, whether it's out on the channel already or not, I've opened an ETB of that, and same with Twilight Masquerade. So I say we just start with Twilight Masquerade and go through them. What did you think about Twilight Masquerade as a set?
Um, it was an okay set.
Yeah.
There were some nice cards in it. I've opened quite a lot of cards recently from newer sets. I'd say probably in the last month I've done an ETB for each of the sets, and I've done some, collector's boxes from like Shroud of Fable, and I've done probably 50 or 60 packs of um, Stellar Crown as well. So I need to refresh myself on which one's which in terms of cards for them. So
Yeah.
yeah, looking at this, I've just having a quick look through the Twilight Masquerade cards and that, and there were some quite nice cards in it. In terms of especially special art rares and things. You had the Eevee card, which is quite nice, where it's got all the different Eevees on it.
Yeah.
Which I think, if I remember right, there's 8 Eevees on it, and kind of each one's meant to sort of represent what it's going to evolve into, or at least that's what some people believe. Anyway, I haven't. It's a nice looking card.
Yeah.
I haven't looked too much into it. Um, Other than like looking at it as a nice card. Um, but otherwise, I wouldn't really say there was any particularly standout cards to me. The artwork on them's nice, and the varied styles. Like you've got the Frostlass, I think it is, which is
Mm.
quite like almost like hyper realistic. The same with the Chime Echo, and then you've got some really nice, like sort of like cartoony animated, like anime style ones, like the Pincer. Um, Stuff like that. Yeah, they've got some really nice, they've got some nice artwork, but like nothing really particularly stood out for me in this set.
Yeah.
I know that the Carmine card was the chase card, I believe, for that set, or one of them. Oh, actually, no, having a look through this again, the Greninja EX card,
Yeah.
special art, rare, that was a very, very nice card, as well as the different mask types for Ograpon.
Yeah.
Um, the sort of like, well, again, like almost like a stained glass effect, really, like they were quite nice as well.
Yeah,
As well as like there was a nice throwback to the Sun and Moon era as well with Lana's Aid
yeah,
being one of the characters from the Sun and Moon TV series. So that was quite nice to see. But for the most part, I would say like there was a couple of nice cards, but it wasn't a particularly standout set for me.
yeah. No, I agree. There is some nice cards in the set. I'm just looking through them now. I was going to bring up the Greninja. That's going for, according to the app that I use, $350. So it's still highly
Yeah.
sought after.
Mm,
As far as the art rares and special art rares, secret art rares, just gonna call them art rares. There is some really nice cards in this. Like you said, the Eevee, the Tatsuguri. I think that one's really sick. Where it looks like he's on sushi and there's like all the boys around him
yeah.
and that. Um,
And actually, a card I was lucky enough to pack from Twilight Masquerade. Actually,
oh, cool.
it is a very nice card.
It is.
Very very vibrant artwork.
So I've only packed 3 cards out of this. Sorry. Packed 3 big hitters, I suppose. So I got Blood Moon, Ursaluna, sorry, EX.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, the gold one. Sorry, pronunciation of these are fucking shite. It always is. I got the Teal Mask Ogapon EX. The one where it's like front facing. And
Yeah.
what's the last one I got? I can't remember. Oh, I think it was just one of the bog standard half arts. So it wasn't anything big. But I mean, like the appling, I think that's pretty cool the way it's like in the trees with all the apples and that. Like there is some genuinely decent artwork with these. It isn't like it's not the best, it's not the worst. A few of the smaller Pokemon, I suppose, like the less common Pokemon, like your Applin, Timber,
Yeah.
Probopass, they're getting more cards, which is great. Yeah,
It is. They're not getting left behind like a certain other Pokemon that I can mention that only appeared in 3 sets and 2 promos, or 1 promo, I think, actually.
yeah. We're not going to talk
And
about
that be
that.
it. We're not going to talk about that because that's the source of your bane of your existence for
It
your
is.
Got Pack 'em All, isn't it?
It's going to be. It's going to be. I'm not worrying about it for time being, but it
And
will.
10 points to anybody who can point out which Pokemon that is in the comments, because yeah, it's the bane of Mosey's existence right now.
It certainly will be soon. Yeah, I'm not worrying about that for time being because it's going to cost me an arm and a leg. But we move. So overall, Twilight Masquerade, better than mid, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say it's better than mid, but it's still. I'm still only going to say it's like a 6 or a 7 out of 10, like at best. It's not.
Yeah,
To me, it's nothing special. It was a nice set. It had some nice cards, but it was never one that I was particularly bothered about, which is why I think I got the ETB, and I think I opened like a handful of packets that came in like mini tins. I think it was like one of those and one of something else that came in
yeah,
the mini tins. But I didn't really go too in on this one just because there wasn't that much. What there is, I would probably just buy outright rather than trying to pack them.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's
because
not worth a lot of money, I think.
no, it's not worth more money. Like I'd rather just pay what the card is worth and then have it, rather than trying to spend more trying to pack it out of lock.
Yeah, yeah. Know that feeling. So yeah, I mean, for me, Twilight Masquerade, I bought an ETB of it. But that's my extent into it. So moving on to Shrouded Fable, I never opened a pack. I haven't opened a pack to this day. That's not from hating the set. It's just I don't know. I just didn't really get into the set itself. I suppose, like looking at it, there's obviously before we came on to record, we spoke about the Duskull, Dusclops, and Dust Noir, where he's getting close to your location.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
we both agree, like those continuing arts are always sick. They're always really good. They always stand out. And I
Yeah.
think those three are obviously going to be the standouts from this set. There is obviously like the Okidogi, the Cassiopeia, which is the
Yeah.
Cassiopeia or whatever she's called. That was the
The
chase card.
Cassiopeia, yeah, that was the chase card. Still worth quite a lot even now.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, like I say, I was lucky enough to pack the Dust Skull in my ETB.
yeah,
I will be trying to get the Dust Flops and the Dust Noir because I do like those continuing art
yeah.
theme ones. I did the same with Rose Curlier and Guard of War from a previous set that I, off the top of my head, can't remember. It was either it might be
It's just
the
basic
Collier
Scarlet and
Evolved
Violet.
or was it base set Scarlet and Violet, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. I managed to get all three of those, and I will probably try and get all three of these as well. There are some quite nice cards. I quite like the Cresselia special art rare. That's quite nice. The Zoroa
yeah,
special art rare, where it's asleep on the roof. That's quite a nice card. And obviously, you've got the Cassiopeia and the Okidogi, Monkey Dory, Pheasantipede, and Petron EX cards that are still worth quite a bit. A
yeah.
friend of mine got a mini booster, the 6-pack ones
Mm.
of the Shrouded Fable, and they were quite lucky enough to pack the Okidogi one, and they were like, "Oh, how much is that worth?" And when I had to look at what places like Magic Madhouse, obviously, and Chaos Cards were using, like selling it like as an individual card, it was going for about 45, 48 quid. So quite a decent chunk. So not a bad card to pack at all, and the artwork on them's quite nice as well.
Yeah, it's pretty decent, that, to be honest with you, because I wasn't expecting that. I think for me, like, I like the Persian card. I think the Persian's really good, where it's like looking at the window and you can see the reflection of it. I think that's
Yeah,
just brilliant. And one that I always have a look at and think is Beware. It looks like I said this to one of my mates called Ben. I said it looked like a. Did I say it to Ben? No, it might not have been Ben. I thought I said it to Ben because he's into goth mummies. I said it looked like a goth mummy looking down on him.
so to me, whenever I see the Beware card, it reminds me of the Sun and Moon series, something else that I've recently rewatched with my kids,
Mm,
where Beware would just show up at the most inopportune of moments for Team Rocket and just carry them away.
mm,
And it was just a recurring gag through the two or three Sun and Moon series, where instead of them blasting off as a result of Pikachu and Ash, for the most part it was Beware would just show up and just grab hold of them and carry them away. Um,
mhm.
so it just reminds me very much of that, where it's like it's shown up to kind of scoop up Team Rocket from the remnants of their battle and carry them away, and so sort of like look after them as it did through the series, or at least that's what it thought it was doing.
Yeah, it's yeah, he's a big boy. He's definitely smaller than Peppa Pig though.
Yes,
Peppa Pig's built diff.
yes.
But yeah, Shadow Fable. Go on. Well, we'll rate it out of 10 then. I think that's something good. How many Pikachu's
I would
would you give it out
say
of 10?
I would say that for me is a solid 7 out of 10 set. For me personally, like the variation of artworks and things, and some more Pokemon getting their day in the special art rares, like
Hmm.
that is definitely makes it a nicer set than Twilight Masquerade. Like I'd definitely rate it a 7 out of 10 solidly.
See, I'd rate it the same as what I would Twilight. I'd rate it as a 6. There is some really good cards in Shadow Fable. I think Twilight um definitely has the cards that are worth the most. Obviously, just being the Greninja. The Greninja's
Yeah,
worth more than the whole Shrouded Fables whole set. So, but that's a fluctuating market as always. Don't go
yeah,
buying Greninja for 350 quid or whatever it is going for right now,
yeah.
because it'll
Exactly.
hopefully it'll come down in price. It's a very nice card, but you know,
It's one of those that I don't think it will particularly drop too
mm,
too much in price.
yeah,
And if it does, it will drop a little bit and then go back up again as the set gets older. because Greninja is a fan favorite, much in the same way that Charizard cards, Pikachu cards, Gengar cards,
Yeah.
they are like they retain value. Greninja is another fan favorite, therefore it will retain its value more than likely.
Yeah.
Like I say, you might see a bit of drop off on it as more of them hit the market, but then as soon as they start leaving the market again, that price is going to creep back up and probably exceed what it's at the minute. Actually,
You
I wouldn't be
think?
surprised that if in a couple of months we start seeing Greninja cards going for upwards of like 500 quid.
Jeez. So still don't take our advice because we don't know. We can't predict the future, but it's like stock
No,
trading at
no,
the end of the day. You know,
exactly. It's just from sort of a bit of experience of seeing what happens with fan favorite Pokemon. Like for example, like we can take for example, what was it, the Iono card from Scarlet and Violet base set, or how they
mm,
are evolved. I can't remember which one it was.
yeah,
That was going for upwards of like 200 quid at one point for a raw card. It's now you can, if you're lucky, you can pick it up for between 40 and 60. It's had its day. It's dropped off because it was, but that was the chase card. But then on the flip side of that, you've got the Groudon, I think was from Temporal Forces.
yeah,
On average, used to go for about 30 odd quid. When I sold mine, I think I sold it for about somewhere between 25 and 35 quid. Now you see it for a sort of minimum of around 60, 70 quid. So it's just sort of looking at the market and going, what's going to have its day and what's going to retain its value will go up in value because it's a fan favorite. And Greninja is definitely up there as a fan favorite. So it wouldn't surprise me to see, but like I say, we can't predict the future.
no. I mean, look at the rise of like a more recent one, Magikarp. The Magikarp
Yes.
from Paldea Evolved. That was like a 30, 40 quid card, and like now it's 100 and like 50 or something. It's shot straight up. Same with the Starmie V from
Yes. Yes.
Astral
From Astral
Radiance.
Radiance. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Which
that.
I got lucky enough to pack two of, didn't I?
Yeah,
So
shit house. But yeah, it is just such a fluctuating market. You can't really.
exactly. Like, and you definitely got a good deal from me on that Magikarp when I sold you it because
Yeah, I know.
it's now worth like 3 or 4 times what you bought it off me for. But that's the market that we work with, isn't it? When you
Oh
buy
yeah,
and sell Pokemon cards, like it's sometimes you're going to get lucky and you're going to make a mint off of it. It's a card that's popular when it sets out, and like the Iono card, which is now not really as sought after. Um, Other times, like the Magikarp, you're going to sell it at its maximum value when the set comes out, and then after it's not, even though the Paldea Evolved are still printing, um, it's shot up in value because less of the cards are hitting the market, but it's still well sought after.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it just depends on the art style as well. I suppose with a lot of
Yes,
these, like the Iono one was different to how your
yes,
typical trainer cards are, and that
yeah.
that really put it in a good stead. And obviously, it's waifu cards, so like,
Yes, yes, it's that waifu meta, which some people love, a lot of people hate. It's a very controversial topic in the community of whether chase cards should be the waifu meta cards that are coming into it, like Iono, like Erica's Invitation from the Japanese 151 set in particular was another standout one where
yeah,
at one point you could buy a raw card for like upwards of nearly 300 quid. Um,
yeah, it's ridiculous, wasn't it?
it was. So like, it's a very controversial topic of whether it should be they should be the ones that are most sought after or whether it should be reserved for the actual Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Everyone will have their own opinion on that. For me, it is just very much dependent on the art style. It doesn't really matter who or what it is. Like the Carmine card from Twilight Masquerade, I was never bothered by it. I didn't see the appeal of it being as expensive as it was.
Yeah,
But that was the chase card. And then you get things like the Magikarp, where I can fully well see why that was such a desirable card because of its art style.
yeah, it was just so nice, wasn't it? It was kind of like the first time I saw the card in person. You don't really take into appreciation of how nice it is until you see it like in the flesh, and it's like, oh
Yeah,
shit, there's a Gyarados there, and you're noticing like little specks and shit, and just yeah, it's just a nice card, and it makes sense why that card has just climbed in value, even though it wasn't. I mean, it was kind of the chase card, wasn't it? But it
It
wasn't.
was, yeah, it was. It kind of was, but it wasn't at the time, and
Mm,
now it very much is. Like,
yeah,
if you ask anyone who collects cards what card they would most want out of out of that set, the Paldea Revolved set, it would be that Magikarp now.
yeah,
Maybe not at the time, but now definitely people want that Magikarp card.
yeah. It's the same like Astral Radiance. Like I pulled the Origin Form Dialga V, and that was classed as one of the like your higher class cards, I suppose. There was a couple of chase cards in that. There was the Palkia,
Yes.
which was like on the black and white tiled like floor as well. Like those two
Yeah.
were like the ones that were like the big hitters. But now it's
Yeah.
Starmie. It's completely
Yes.
changed.
It's that Starmie V with Misty that's become the go-to card, the pricey card.
We forgot one
And yeah,
from
like
that. Machamp,
the Machamp as well.
who's
Yes, that
carrying the
Machamp
plates.
is incredibly nice artwork, and it does go for quite a lot now.
It's
Um,
still
you know,
£100.
yeah, exactly. Whereas I think when the set came out, it was nowhere near that to my knowledge. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's not one I particularly looked at actually when I was looking at hit cards for that set. It was, your Starmies, your
Hmm.
Palkia, your Dialga, as well as the gold cards that came in that set as well. Like they were the ones that were kind of the go-to.
Yeah,
But now it's the Machamp, it's the Starmie. They are the more expensive of the sort of like say 6 cards, 8 cards that were sort of we'd look at as chase cards. They are now the two most expensive ones compared to the others.
yeah. No, absolutely. Like you say, it's just a fluctuating market, and it just
Yeah,
completely depends where people want the popularity to be, and it's supply and demand at the end of the day. That's the oldest trick in the book. Um,
it is.
Speaking of Pokemon sets, just in general, though, it is the newest set that we're going to be talking about next, which is Stellar Crown. As
It
of recording
is.
this on the 2nd of October, um, there is obviously a new set that's going to come out, which we will dive a little bit into, but we're not going to dive too much into at the end of the episode. So Stellar Crown, talk me
Yes,
through it.
Stellar Crown. Stellar Crown is the most recent set I've decided to go all in on, try and complete. I think I'm about as of recording this, barring some individual cards that I have ordered based on packs I've opened alone,
Mm-hmm.
I am at 83% completion of the set.
Jeez.
Has some really nice cards in it. It's got the obviously I've mentioned the Terrapagos
Yeah.
EX, the full art one. That one's just a stunning card. I absolutely love it. Other ones that I'd like to mention is the Dash Bun
Yeah.
um, EX card, another quite a nice card. My friend packed that one
Yeah.
out of their ETB. They got very very lucky because that's like a £45 card I think as well. Um, but then as well, like the Zero Aura card, I absolutely love on that set. I got quite lucky. I packed the Squirtle full art card as well, one of the other
Mhm.
pricier ones in that set, which I think goes for about 50 quid at the moment as of recording.
Yeah. It is.
Um, the Bulbasaur they've got as well. I haven't got that one yet, but it's very very nice. Like it's just all around the majority of the special art rares. It's just really nice cards in this set. It's in my opinion.
Yeah.
They've got such nice varying styles in the artwork, and they go so complement the Pokemon so well that they've used for them. Each one of them just sort of, in my opinion, just stands out really nicely. Even the cheaper ones, like the Turtonator one, it's just quite a nice, cute little bit of artwork. Turtonator sort of hiding in a cave
Yeah.
from the rain. Um, you see it on Vintage for about between 2 and 5 quid. Like it's not an expensive card, but it's still a nice bit of artwork. Um, yeah, like I just think that they kind of they stood out a lot more in this set compared to the previous two, and that's what kind of made me want to go. You know what? Actually, I'm going to try and finish this set.
Yeah. No, I can agree with that. I think out of the three sets, it's definitely the strongest.
Yeah,
I think bringing back the rainbow borders as well for this set is just a big power dick
yeah,
move by Pokemon. Like it's
yeah.
like the
And it,
thing. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, and it's not like just the traditional rainbow rare of the card. It's like the rainbow border and the sort of detail. It's small detailing, but like the
Mm,
main bulk of the Pokemon stays as it is. And it's just obviously that is in line with the stellar typing of the terrestrialization that they brought out in the DLC for Scarlet and Violet. I can't remember which one it was. It wasn't Twilight Mask or whatever it was. No, that's the set. It was the other one that I can't remember the name of. Hang on, I will look that up really quickly. It was oh, it was Hidden Treasure of Area Zero, um, and Teal Mask, I believe it was. So yeah, that was released in the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero one. The terrestrialization, stellar like typing,
mm.
and the incorporation of that and giving it like the rainbow borders and that. They just made those cards absolutely beautiful to look at. Even the sort of full art ones. I have all three of the full art Cinderace, Lapras, and Galvantula,
Yeah,
and they're just such nice cards, even if they aren't worth a great deal. They're just really nice to look at and really appealing to the eye.
yeah,
So it was definitely a nice draw to the set was to have that something a little bit different from previous sets, whilst also almost like you say a return to form of the rainbow cards, but in a different way.
no, absolutely. It's it's moving into this like crystal era that we're expecting, like with say the newest set, which is called Spark and Sedge. Yeah,
Surging Sparks,
Sedge and Sparks. That's one. Sorry, I got mixed up. I
yeah,
even wrote down Spark and Sedge. Sedge and Sparks. It seems like we're going towards like the crystals and stuff like that, which is sick because if it works and it slaps. The like what you said though, like the rainbow borders are just make it pop and it works amazing. A lot of these art. Sorry, I am just looking at my phone because I'm looking at the artwork for all these cards and it don't miss. Like there's not one that I look at and go, you know what I mean? Like all of them are really good. The Meditite, which I really like because he's got like one eye open looking at the bird Pokemon flying by. I don't know what kind of bird it is. The bird Pokemon flying by. The Dying, which is just really nice. Lily, sorry, which is yeah, it's like in like an aquarium, as if to speak. That one's
yeah,
really cool. The Dying going over like the field of flowers where it's like emulating like glow flies and stuff like that. Uh,
yeah, like
it, it is very solid. Um,
yeah,
there's not many full arts, which I do like. Full arts piss me off sometimes because you think you got a really good hit, and the hits, like obviously from our sense of just being collectors, the full arts aren't worth a lot of money. Like,
no,
we're being
exactly,
realistic. Like, without selling you, because obviously, like I said, I've got a video coming out with still a Chrome. One of my big hits is a full art, and it's a little bit underwhelming, if you know what I mean. Like, obviously, you want like your secret art rares and all that shape, but yeah, it's just you,
yeah. And it's like you've
there's
got like in the set looking at this, if we ignore the stellar full arts because I think they are a little bit different and they are a bit nicer,
yeah,
you've got four trainer and four Pokemon for the full set, which is nice to see that there's not loads of them.
yeah,
Like, and as much as I love 151 as a set, there were shed tons of like full art cards in that weren't like special art rares.
yeah. No, absolutely. The I think we need to do a full episode of 151.
Yeah, I
Like just
think we do because
because we could just talk about it and we'll just get into a tangent, and this episode will be about 14 hours long because the the 151 set is it's great, but like I said, I think we just need to sit down and talk about 151 now that we've
yeah,
both completed it. Yeah, I mean, still a crown rating out of 10.
I would give this a solid 8, I think. The artwork doesn't miss. Very minimal full art cards, and the three of those, what? So there's, yeah, 3 out of 11
Mm-hmm.
full arts were the stellar ones, and they were a little bit different, and they brought a little bit of a different sort of feel to the full art cards. So like all in all, they don't really miss.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what all I would say about the set is other than obviously the Terrapagos card, there are some like some other chase cards like the Squirtle, the Bulbasaur, the Dash Bun. They're all quite worth a fair little bit. Um, it would have been nice to see maybe like one or two more sort of special art rares that followed the stellar terrestrialization, because aside from Terrapagos, the only other one I think off the top of my head is the Galvantula special art rare.
Yeah.
Um, so it would have been nice to see maybe another one or two Pokemon, even if they did the other two that they had done for the stellar typing, which was Lapras and Cinderace. If they'd done a special art rare for each of them, I think that would have kind of rounded off the set and made it a little bit more closer to a 9, like to a 9 or a 10.
Yep.
But yeah, I'd say a solid 8 verging into a 9. There's room for some improvement in my opinion, but that is just my opinion.
No, I agree with your opinion. I think it's a solid 8. There isn't much. Obviously, we're just looking at like the big hitters in this.
Yeah,
Because obviously that's where the money is at, and like that's what everyone's chasing. I think compared to like the previous two, Stellar Crown's a more well-rounded set. It's like what you said.
yeah,
It just needs to improve a few different areas, and it would get that 9 or 10. It's just
yeah.
it is lacking in certain areas, but overall, very solid, very good set, and the best out of the three.
Yeah, definitely. And like I say, like because it didn't make sense to me that Cinderace and Lapras didn't get a special art rare for the stellar typing, because even if you look at the half arts,
Mm,
you've got Cinderace, Lapras, and Galvantula that are half arts that have got the stellar typing. You've got the full arts of all three, but then only Galvantula. Oh, and Terrapagos actually. Terrapagos got a half art as well. And whilst it didn't get a standard full art, it did get the special art rare and the gold rare.
yeah.
Um, but Galvantula was the only one that got a special art rare outside of Terrapagos. So like I kind of feel like that was a miss in my opinion.
Mm.
That if you're gonna have that theme of those four Pokemon across, the different rarities that they appear at in the set, excluding two of them from the special art rares, kind of felt like a bit of a miss to me. But maybe other people would disagree.
No, yeah, no, I agree. I think it's like you said, you keep with the four and make all four of them
Yeah,
special and dirty, and just street the rewards. But I suppose it's in one way it's Pokemon are not releasing four, they're releasing two.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
kind of like pushing the market down a little bit. That makes sense.
yeah,
You're trying to chase something. You're gonna buy more packs if you're chasing two rather than four.
yeah.
So
That's true. Yeah,
I do get that. So the final bit of this segment before we do our closing part of this podcast episode. So how would you rank these three? So for me, it would be Stellar Crown, Twilight, and then Shrouded.
for me, it would be Stellar Crown takes that top spot. Then I'd say Shrouded, and then Twilight. Twilight, like I said, I took one look at the card list. I got the ETB because I collect the ETBs, and I like to have one from each set where I can. But aside from that, there wasn't anything that really excited me enough to want to buy more of it. So yeah, it definitely takes that bottom spot as Twilight Masquerade.
No, I get that. I only put Shrouded at the bottom because I haven't opened any from them, so I don't
Yeah,
have any
that's
experience in
fair.
them.
That's fair.
But yeah, overall decent. So yeah, I think that's about it. This is really, it's been a good chat with you, Fighter, and the first episode of Toploader with Mosey and Fighter. I think it's a good way to end, is just giving our thoughts on those three, and yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's been a very good chat, and it's been nice to be able to sit down and have a good proper chat about these things. I know that we have like we message and we chat about them like in bits and pieces, but being able to sit down and do a good deep dive into the different sets and our thoughts and opinions on them, that's been a great thing, as well as the obviously the upcoming of Pocket and various other bits and pieces along the way. It's been very nice to be able to just sit down and just chat about it for like a solid amount of time.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think just leading on to like our last part, so yeah, it has been really good just to just chat shit, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, um, um, I think in the next episode, we haven't spoken about it properly, but just to like say to like people if they watch this or listen to this, however you consume your media, um, we're probably gonna the next episode will probably be on Sedge and Spark. We're gonna have a look at the card list for that.
Yes, yes,
Um,
and even if it's just a potential card list, since an official one I don't think has been released as of recording this, although
yeah,
by the time that we record the next one, they may have released even a teaser list of like a handful of cards. We can then use that to speculate based on the Japanese counterparts, so
yeah,
that have already been released. So yeah, we can always we'll have a good look at the those and what we speculate will be coming next with Surging Sparks.
yeah,
And something that I believe I have at the very least ordered the booster box bundle that comes with the ETB. I don't know whether you said you had done the same as well.
yeah. I've done the same as well, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
and I reckon we can do a special episode of that where we do a side by side of unboxing them and talking through it as we do it and talking about our thoughts on it. I think that would be a good way to go with that one if people would be interested in that.
yeah, I'm gonna be probably opening the booster box on stream. But I can
Yeah,
put the ETB to a side and we can do that on here and we can talk about
yeah.
the set in general. Which I don't believe I'll get mine. I didn't pay for special delivery, but both from the same company. So I think mine's gonna come a little bit later than yours. But we can get something sorted and we can get it sorted out.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I mean, I wasn't fussed about paying the extra £2.50 to have it on release day, so I paid it. So
Yeah, I didn't think anyone might. The likelihood is no one's gonna be in. So yeah, it's
that's
just
fair. That's fair.
it doesn't really matter to me. One thing I will say though is with the next episode, we will if there isn't much to speak about Surgeon Sparks, I think we'll talk about 151.
Yes, I think that would be a good plan.
Yeah, I think we'll do like a little bit of an update on Surgeon Sparks. Regardless of where it is, we'll have a
Yeah,
little talk about Surgeon Sparks, and then we can properly get into the meat and bone of one of the most popular sets in probably 5-10 years, maybe longer.
yeah,
In 151. Um,
yes.
and really get to the nitty gritty of that. And yeah, I think that'll be good. Any closing comments from yourself?
No, I hope that you've enjoyed listening to me and Mosey chat shit about Pokemon for well, however long this winds up being after editing.
Uh,
Um,
yeah,
it's certainly been a good time for me. So I'm hoping that everyone else has enjoyed it. And any comments on what you would like to see, maybe segments on this or things that we can improve on would be always great in the comments. So feel free to either address those comments to either myself, to Mosey, or to both of us if it's something in reference to both of us, and we'll definitely be taking a look at those and seeing what we can do with it.
yeah, absolutely. We do keep an eye on the comments. So make sure you do leave a comment. I've had a blast, so this is definitely happening again on my end. So
Yeah,
yeah, lovely,
definitely want to be doing this again.
good. That's what I like to hear. So yeah, I think closing comments. I'll just do a little shout out for my good friend Fighter. You can go check him out on Kick, which is Fighter044. It's been on the screen all day. You can have a look in the description as well. All of Fighter's links will be in the description along with mine. If you're new around here, please drop us a subscribe. I always like to say subscription, but it's not like a subscription. It's just a subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. That's a better way of saying it. Hit the subscribe button. It helps out massively. We're going to. I always set out a plan, and the plan was to hit 100 subs by the end of the year. I don't think that's going to be achievable, so we'll dial it down. We're going to hit 50 subs by the end of the year. I'd really appreciate everyone who subscribes. That'd be absolutely mint. Leave a like, drop a comment. Obviously, I know Fighter's been saying a lot of things for you to comment, so comment all of them down below. We see everything, we reply to everything. So yeah, and yeah, I suppose from me, Mosey, and Fighter, thanks a lot for watching this first episode, and we'll catch you on the second episode. Take care.
Okay, guys, catch you on the next one.